Shalom, shalom. I want to say all praises be to Abanawa, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Harakat, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, was a quantum of great millstone who ruled well. Shalom to the sincere brethren. I came out there across the four winds, four corners of the globe, pushing the truth, the good news of Yahweh Shai, proclaiming salvation to the elect of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. I'm proclaiming the downfall of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man and his wicked empire. So this video is going to be entitled, they parted our land, or they parted the Lord's holy land, referring to the heathen, chiefly the house of Amalek, who have usurped our holy land, Jerusalem, the land of Israel, to this day. So this is a book about, and basically all what's going on over there in the Middle East, specifically in the land of Israel with the Palestinians and the so-called Israelis. Hey, that's all according to biblical prophecies. Why? Because you have not the chosen people in that land. So that land ain't gonna see peace. That land ain't gonna see harmony. That land is not gonna flourish. Because what? The true people of that land is not there. What did Abdel Gamal Nasser said going back to the 1950s? The former prime minister or president of Egypt, he said, the Jews left black and came back white. You will never have peace in that land. Referring to the people over there in the land of Israel not having peace. And they fought numerous wars, man, over the decades that since 1948. Why? Because they're not the people of the land. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 2. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Yehoshaphat, which is the Middle East region, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel. Kind of when the Lord said plead, he really means destroy them, man. He's going to have them destroy each other, and in the midst of that, Yahweh Shai is going to return, and the angels, and they're going to finish the job, man. You understand? So that's how the Lord is going to plead with the nations, the different nations, gathered the militaries, and the militaries of the nations gathered over there in the Middle East region for this third world war, for the ground battle of Armageddon. I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel. So there you have it, which is all throughout the scriptures. If you read the scriptures even for a little bit, you'll recognize and come to an understanding that the Lord has a chosen people, and that chosen people are the children of Israel. It is plain and easy to see, plain and easy to recognize that the Lord's chosen people are the children of Israel. There's no doubt about it. You understand? I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations. Whom they have scattered amongst the nations. I mean, chiefly we scattered where? North, South, and Central America. But really we scattered abroad, man. You know what I mean? West Africa, Asia, Europe. Jake is everywhere, man. Scattered everywhere, but in our homeland Israel, man. I mean, there's Jakes even scattered there too. But we're not principally there. So we scattered everywhere outside of our homeland instead of the place that we ought to be. And who is there? Bastards, heathens. Understand? People who ought not to be there. But that's all according to biblical prophecies that they were going to go there, man. These heathens, chiefly the house of Amalek, was going to go and usurp our homeland. Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Parted my land, meaning what? Divide the land, man. And I wanted to bring this out real quick, because this is what kind of inspired the lessons. Even the city of Jerusalem is parted amongst different religious sects, different nations, so to speak. So here you go right here. There are 4 religious quarters in the old city of Jerusalem. The Christian quarter, the Muslim quarter, the Jewish quarter, and Armenian quarter. So there you have it, man. They parted the land. These are different religions and nations parting our land, man. You understand? You have the Muslims, the Ishmaelites. You understand? The so-called Christians, which a lot of them are probably Cushites, Ethiopians, or Edomites. You understand? You have the Armenians. I mean, another group of mixed people, whether Edomites and Arabs, whatever, and Jewish. Jewish being the the house of Amalek, those who saying that they are Jews and are not, man. Revelation 2 and 9 and Revelation 3 and 9. So how can you be the people but the land is parted, man? You think when the real people back in that land, when King David is set back up, when Yahushua is ruling, you think there's gonna be any Muslim quarter in Jerusalem, any Armenian quarter, so on and so forth, any quarter of another religion or philosophy or ideology? Hell no. It's gonna be the only quarter is the quarter of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, serving Yahweh Yahushua in truth and sincerity, man. Observing the law, statutes, and commandments of the scriptures. That's the only quote unquote religious order that's gonna be, man. It's gonna be a theocracy under the scriptures, not that madness, man. And Israel is what? Set up as a secular state. The state of Israel is set up as a secular state, meaning that what? The Bible, the Torah doesn't run the land, man. They make their own laws, and their laws is based upon what? When you look it up, British law and American law, man. So what type of madness is that? But that's showing you time and time again. This is more and more evidence that they're not the people, man. Just how they move, just how they set their whole foundation of the land, man. How they set up their governance of the land is not according to biblical prophecy. You understand? And then again, they have no peace in that land. How can you be the reestablishment of the Israelites after being scattered abroad, but you have no peace in that land? So let me get that. That's in Isaiah. Isaiah tells you that, yeah, there's going to be no more war, no more conflicts when Israel is back in that land permanently. After the exile, when we come back, there's going to be no war, no more, none of that, man. First of all, the nations are going to be serving us in absolute subjection. Are the nations doing that? No, y'all fighting a war on the Gaza Strip right now, man. Back and forth with Hamas or whatever. You understand? You just went back and forth with the Persians. That ain't gonna be happening in our kingdom, man. Are you crazy? These nations are gonna be thoroughly put in order. If they even think about rising up against us, man, it's gonna be shower, fire and brimstone, laser beams, lightning and thunder. You understand? Isaiah chapter 2 verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established at the top of the mountains. Meaning the Lord's kingdom is going to be set back up, because the mountains represents kingdoms, governments, rulerships, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow onto it. So all nations shall flow onto what? The true nation of Israel, onto the land of Israel, and observe and praise us and bless us that we are the people. Are people doing that? Are the Chinese doing that? Are even fellow Edomites, Russians, you know what I mean, Turkish, they're not doing that. They cursing the state of Israel on it. American Edomites, they cursing the state of Israel on it. The so-called Jews are really the most despised amongst the nation of Edom. Other Edomites despise them heavily, man. Isaiah chapter 2 verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come here, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the Most High, Yahweh power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. So that's a tenfold cut right there, man. Is that happening, man? No, our nation's bowing down to the Israelis. Our nation wanted to walk in the ways of the Israelis, man. No, all nations round about, especially them Ishmaelite nations, them so-called Muslim nations, they coming up against the state of Israel. Like I said, even all the Edomite nations, man, are coming up against the state of Israel. Nobody giving them credence as the top nation on earth. Nobody showing them love. Nobody blessing them. Why? Because they are not the people, man. They are not the people. They are not the people of the scriptures. They are not the Israelites of antiquity, man. I mean, hey, man, it's plain to see. If you can't see it, the Lord is just not dealing with you, man. Read it just off of one of the factual information that I just brought out, you could see like, oh man, yeah, they're not the people, man. First of all, it's continual war, no peace. It's like they don't fit the curses of Deuteronomy 28. That's another big thing right there. How they went back to the land is not according to biblical prophecy of how the Israelites was going to get back that land. They get in that land is biblical prophecy of how the heathen was going to usurp that land. You understand that? I just brought out Joel 3 and 2. That's the biblical prophecy on how the heathen would usurp that land, not how the true Israelites would get back to that land in terms of returning from the exile. And really, the Israelites are going to return from the land after the exile, after what? The World War II, after the Great Destruction, basically. After the end times has basically at the culmination, at the finishing of the end times, that's when the Israelites, true Israelites, is going to be brought back to that land, man, according to end time biblical prophecy. And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. That's a cold cut right there, man. Because they have nothing but war in that land. But the scriptures say once Israel is established back in that land, no more war. So what go on, man? You know what I mean? But you still have a lot of these airheaded Christians that's gonna try to big up, oh, those are chosen people. They're the chosen people, man. Do you study your scriptures? You know what I mean? Showing you that a lot of these Christians ain't on a level, man. And really, a lot of these so-called white Christians, they're just straight up racist, man. They don't want Jake to be the people, which I'm not mad at them. It's really you boneheaded, knuckleheaded Negroes and Latinos that are rating these people over there in the land as being the people. Is really the problem. As a so-called white Christian, wanting those Amalekites to be the people, hey, that's what they're supposed to do. Just like they have Caesar Borgias up as the son of the Most High, they're supposed to do that, man. But as you boneheaded, knuckleheaded Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, hey, man, you the problem, man. To hell with the nations, to hell what they believe, to hell what they think. Why are you following up on them? You understand? But there goes again. Hey, Isaiah 1 tells you what Israel is a homeborn slave. An ox knows his owner, the ass is master's crib, but my people do not consider. That's Jake, man. Jake is simple, and Jake is, at Hosea 4 and 6, Jake is destroyed for a lack of knowledge. But we, the hopeful elect, we in the truth, hey, that's why we study to show ourselves approved. And ultimately, we in the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So we see these things simple and plain and simple. We understand it. It all makes sense. It all clicks in our head. Like it was always there. It's because we in the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and the Lord's spirit is supping with us. But as for the two-thirds, the Lord's spirit ain't supping with them. We get Revelation. Revelation chapter 11 verse 1. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood saying, Rise and measure the temple of the Most High and the altar, and them that worship therein. What's the measuring stick? The scriptures. Are you written in the book of life or not? Are you an Israelite or not? And them that worship therein, but the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, the natural Gentiles, the heathens, and the holy city shall they tread on the foot 40 and 2 months. Come. So we in that dispensation of 40 and 2 months right now, man. They treading what? The holy city on the foot. That's not like I just read out, man. They have different quarters over there for different heathen groups, man. For different nations. And the top nation that they have over there running things is what? The house of Amalek, of the nation of Edom. And the scriptures say, yeah. And this is Revelation. This is the last book, man, in the scriptures. This book is heavily into end time. It's basically all about end time prophecy, basically. Through and through. What's going to be going on in the end times? And the end times is what? The holy city shall they tread on the foot 40 and 2 months. So they said it's given out to Gentiles, but it's going to come a time where, yeah, this end times where they're going to tread the holy city on the foot for this dispensation. But we understand the time of the Gentiles is what? Is being fulfilled, man. We're in the time of the Gentiles where it's time for them to get removed out of that land. And they're going to get removed violently. as they are violent people, man. Hey, look what they're doing to the Palestinians, man. Which they heathens too, but look what they're doing. They're blowing their shit, and they're ready to go back into Gaza, man. They just had a so-called peace deal, but they're threatening again, like, yo, we're gonna go back in there if you don't do what we say. Show me that these people is violent, man. These are the people of the Lord. These are the people of peace. You know what I mean? Jerusalem ain't in peace. They're in constant war and so on and so forth, man. Well, why do they have the Iron Dome? To protect against nations shooting missiles against them. That's to show you in and of itself, man. They ain't the people, man. We're not going to need no Iron Dome. We're not going to need none of that. That's what the Lord is going to be with us. And we're going to be at total peace when we reestablish back in the land. And King David set back up Yahushai. Kingdom is in place, man. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai's kingdom is in place. Everything is going to run right. Everything is going to run righteously. Everything is going to be in spectacular order, man. You understand? I was going to get Ezekiel, but Ezekiel says the same thing too, man. The Lord said what he's going to bring the worst of the heathen, and they're going to possess our land, possess our holy places. So that's what you have over there right now, the worst of the heathen. You know what I mean? They're having alphabet community parades over there. Understand? It's a secular society. It's basically America in the Middle East. And we know what goes on here in America. You understand? So that's America in the Middle. That's little Babylon in the Middle East, man. That ain't the Lord's righteous setup. That's a setup on the left-hand side. That's a setup after the ways of Esau, Edom. After the ways of the devil, man. So, see, and the Lord's fair, man. See, the Lord granted you the Holy Land. And look what you did to it. You made a mess, a complete mess of it, man. Yeah, so at least when the Assyrians got there, when the Assyrians took down the northern kingdom, when they placed people in that land, different people, at least those people, they got jacked up. But then when they got jacked up, they asked for the Israelites. They set up Israelites to teach them the ways of the land, basically to teach them the law, statutes, and commandments. And the Lord, you know what I mean, quote unquote, showed mercy upon them, so to speak. But you Amalekites, over there in the land, hey, you're not looking to serve the Lord. You're looking to basically live out the ways of Babylon over there in the Holy Land, man. And the Lord is greatly displeased with that. And you will and are being judged for that, man. And you will continue to be judged until that great judgment come in this third world's war, man. Because you took you stole our identity, man. You stole our heritage, man. And we're reclaiming it back, man. Really, the Lord is going to reclaim it back for us, man. Hey, so with that, I'm going to say our praises be to Abanawa, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Harakak, the honors to the apostles, was a quantum of great millstone and well. Shalom to the elect. Point me, Asha Allah, I bought the ball.